Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm out on another walk and cycle on my quest for England. I'm on the beach here, some beach huts, some rocks, and if I turn around like this, you'll see the ocean behind me. I'm on Lancing Beach on a very windy day, and I'm hoping there's not too much wind. And actually, I'm not spending too much time here on the beach. This, I believe, is called Beach Green, the green sward that you can see up towards a cafe on the right-hand side there with the flag, the Union flag flying, called the Perch. And for years that was if I remember rightly, it was a wooden shack that used to do cups of tea and coffee. And as a child, I would come down and with my parents and enjoy coming down to this beach. My mum, we lived in Horsham in West Sussex, and my mum would take us down to see a friend of hers who lived in Lancing. So this is just a quick look at Lancing, and I'm going to cycle around Lancing with my bike here. Let's turn that camera on. Hopefully that's working and is all charged up. Never quite know. Here we go. And I need to give it a slap so I can get the synchronization in perfect time. Wonderful. So the idea is not so much to cycle around the beach green area, but actually to go into the town and have a look at that. One of the things I also want to see is just how locked down it is as we are in this lockdown of COVID-19. Let's see, shall we? Let's get onto the bike. Not so easy today because we've got to cross a very busy road, so we're going to see what we can do and hopefully not fall off. This is a rather nice little shelter of some description, very beautifully decorated, and down there on the right, well, in front of you is the road that is the coast road to Shoreham. So at the appropriate moment we're going to try and cross this. And we're on our way. There's a little roundabout here next to a tyre place that's been here for ages, so we're going to turn left there and get up into the town. On the ocean side we see the Perch, the Green, and beyond these buildings, little play area where people can come down and bring their kids. But we're approaching the roundabout and we're going to turn left here. Just make sure we don't bump into anybody, and we'll come up. My plan is to go up towards the railway station. It's a funny old place, Lancing. A mixture now of Victorian shops, end of the Victorian period, a couple of other older properties like this one coming up here on the right in front of you, and that little coastal houses, I think, but very much a product of the 1900s. Before that it was a tiny little village, little fishing village. But when the railways came, it turned it into... Hello! There's somebody who obviously knows me and has just made themselves known. It was the coming of the railways, as I was trying to say, that really put Lancing on the map. And mostly because Lancing had was going to build wagons and railway carriages. There was a lot of work going on in Brighton, but they wanted to do enlarge the works and bring it to Lancing. There was a lot of upheaval about that, but it did happen. And the carriage works, railway carriage works, which would have taken place on my right, behind all these houses, looking at old maps, that's where the yard was, carried on until 1965. The church. It's going to duck down here. So just going to pause for a second here. So these houses, all these new builds here, is just beyond here is where the coach works would have gone till 1965. So these are all much earlier houses. But we're going to head down towards the crossing now, where there would have been a track. I don't know where the track is now, whether it's still visible, probably isn't, where the carriage works would have swept up into this area behind me. So we'll sweep through this car park and head down towards Asda. I suppose this is the main shopping area. It gets off the main road which goes up to North Lancing. Now North Lancing is very charming and much older, and we'll look at North Lancing in a different video. But we're coming up to Asda and the railway crossing is beyond. Here, the Luxor cinema, I think that must have been at one point. Asda behind me, well and truly open. We're coming into the main part of the town. I do apologise for any of the wind, and we're going over the crossing. And somewhere off this bit of track, and somebody else will know better than me, is where the line went for the coach works. Here, the railway hotel, looks very nice. As you can see, there's still a lot of people out and about, and it's almost as if there isn't a lockdown at all, which is quite surprising really. Lots of shops are open, as you can see. Many of them are still closed, but people are milling about and keeping their distance, which is obviously the most important thing. WH Smith is shut. Domino's there, Ladbrokes coming up, little fish bars and things, but Truffles the bakery, they're open, and people can still get into the Nationwide Building Society, it seems. Lovely old flint building here, right next to the roundabout. Penfold Farm, does it say? I've just jumped off my bicycle, sort of, well, East Lancing really, on the main Shoreham to Brighton Road, or sorry, the Lancing to Shoreham Road, and then that way goes to Worthing. And around 1910, I think it was, that there's a whole spit of shingle this way, and what's known as Bungalow Town started, and it's a sort of 3-mile stretch that goes right up onto the end of Shoreham, where Shoreham Harbour is, and it sweeps right over this way, where out of the carriages from the works, old carriages, the disused railway carriages, were pulled up onto the seafront and then turned into houses, and it became quite a thing at the beginning of about 1910, something like that. So I just thought I'd have a look. I don't think there is anything of that to be seen now. It's over 100 years, so it's 110 years, it's all built up. So let's go and have a quick look. I'm just going to cut through here, walking my bike. In fact, I have to walk my bike up here because this is a public footpath, and we'll get back down to the sea. Here's the boathouse, it says, which is a lovely old building, and you get a sense of what it must have been like at the turn of the century, coming down here for the first time and being these sort of pioneers. Now, as you can see at this site, it used to be, I think, called White Sands. I think they've changed their name now. But all the way down there was a stretch of bungalows that came from these railway carriages. Hard to believe that now, and so much has changed in the last 100 years. And now there's what looks like a sailing club on this side here. A few little boats that people can join, no doubt, and get onto the sea. Certainly one of the things that you notice now when you go around Beach Green is the amount of people on these kite surfing. It seems to be a very big thing. That's looking at the beach huts going eastwards. And then if I carry on down the footpath here with this faded red pathway past the sailing club, we'll see a load more beach huts. You can cycle on this. It is permitted on this bit. And all the way down to Widewater, actually opposite where the lovely Julia lives, there were all sorts of bungalows, but in the late 30s, I believe they were all cleared away because of the fear of an invasion, and so they sadly are no more. And in fact, at Widewater you can just about see some of the concrete bases. There's people coming through here. Beach Park it's now called. I'll just move over a little bit and then I shall cycle on. It's lovely to see the sea, and I don't know whether you'll pick this up, but the Rampion wind farm right out there in the distance. Right, well, I need to turn around and go home. Thank you so much for watching a little jaunt round the Lancing area. I shall no doubt be out and about again, but thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Become a patron and support what I do, and I'll try and make more of these videos despite the lockdown, keeping myself safe as possible. Till next time, bye bye for now. Bye bye.